Hi guys, it's that time again. What is better? And in this case, it's Death versus Opeth, Symbolic versus Blackwater Park, and we're going to start right now. So when it comes to Symbolic by Death are one of my favourite bands, and I've had a pretty good listen to their music. Now this particular album, Symbolic, Death made a complete turn in their sound with this album, primarily vocal wise, from the normal death metal grunts all the way to the thrash metal, black metal sounding like screaming from Creator to Sodom. This change, however, is not for the worst. In fact, it's quite impressive. Chuck is brilliant throughout this whole album, combining anger and brutality with beautiful atmosphere. Chuck has always proven himself to be an exceptional vocalist. His volume and tone are beyond perfect, becoming more intense and beautiful than ever before. Parts sound nearly orchestral. Death metal music is well known because of the dark symphonic classical music influence. Nowhere is this more noticeable than on the track Crystal Mountain. The guitar solos sound like a metalized Wagner symphony. The album is also jam-packed full of blast beats, which after a while can get boring, but just by merely paying attention to the drums. But when looking at the album as a whole together, it blends in beautifully and supporting the atmosphere displayed in this album ever more vibrant and intense. And by the way, I am a huge fan of blast beats. This album, all in all, is beautifully made with the perfect guitar work and vocals, along with great drumming. This is a must listen for any death metal fan and will not disappoint. Now, Blackwater Park tends to be the jumping off point for people who are interested in Opeth's music. Basically, this album is one that will make or break one's desire to hear the band, and for good reason. It contains some of their best but most progressive works. Nothing wrong with that. Many tend to be driven off by the long, meandering passages, while others are enchanted by them. Nevertheless, this album is a classic album and does give a good representation of Opeth's sound, and it is for the most part a logical evolution from their previous works, My Arms, Your Hearse and Still Life. Notable mention, My Arms, Your Hearse. I love that album. It also incorporates a few elements heard on their later albums, such as Deliverance, and thus is a good bridge between their older classics and newer work. Most of the songs on Blackwater Park blend together heavy death metal sections with progressive and acoustic sections, such as The Drapery Falls and Bleak, which show this quite well, really giving the listener a taste of complexity, intrigue of the songs. Clean and death vocals are used in equal measure. If there's death metal riffs fading into melodic passages to accompany them, you can note the changes in rhythm and texture are quite contrasting, though they still manage to hold together the song's overall atmosphere. Now this is different from their earlier album Morning Rise, another classic album, where the shifts in song structure were so complete that you'd be mistaken for listening to an entirely different song. For example, Black Rose Immortal. From that album can almost be 3 to 4 separate songs. Heavy songs like Leopard Infinity and The Funeral Portrait give you a decent dose of death, albeit more repetitive than most dynamic death metal bands. Harvest and Patterns in the Ivy are entirely melodic, which are great for when you're in a different kind of mood. And finally, that brings us to the esoteric Blackwater Park. Gives you more of a complex style, while also hinting at a rhythm section, and also there's atmospheric elements that would appear in later albums. If anyone who wants to check out Opeth, Blackwater Park is the album to do so. It includes a good sample of all their works prior and future to this one's publication. It also includes a lot of their classics, and I also highly rate this album. So if you don't like this one album, chances are you're not going to like any of Opeth's work. As I always say, each to their own. Okay guys, so let me know in the comment section down below which album you think is better. Other than that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.